Hello and welcome to The Corner, the Coyote Corner video blog. I'm Alex Heinert alongside your Coyote Corner host, Jay Elsen, and this is going to be just a fun thing, Jay, we get to do throughout the season, posting just some more frequent videos up on MidcoSN.com. I'm excited for this year.
Yeah, just trying to keep you guys up to date as much as possible. There's a lot of things that we get a chance to see. We don't always get a chance to write about. Sometimes the video is a little bit easier way to go because we can explain things in a little bit more detail. So yeah, it should be a fun thing, but you guys are going to be able to check it out on MidcoSN.com all year, and this is just going to be the first of many.
Yeah, it's season preview really coming up this week. Coyote Corner starts on Tuesday. We'll have a full season preview of offense and defense. Today, with the time that we've got, let's talk about the offense. Obviously, this is a Coyote team coming off a season where they showed signs of improvement. The established starter and quarterback is a huge deal for them this year.
Well, absolutely, and it's Kevin Earl. And anytime you can come into a season and not have a question mark or a controversy, if you will, at that spot, that's a huge advantage for your football team. Kevin Earl came in, took over about a third of the way through the season last year as the starting quarterback for Josh Vandermotten, and did a very, very good job. Threw for just under 2,000 yards. Ended up being highly ranked in the Missouri Valley Football Conference in total offense. I mean, he's a guy that really can spin it, to quote Josh Vandermotten of all people. Everybody's been very complimentary of what Kevin has done as not only just a quarterback, but as a leader, how far he's come since last year. Really improving, really a lot of confidence. Asked him myself, and he says the game has slowed way down just over the course of the last 12 months for him. So this is a guy that could certainly have a huge, huge season, but there again, it's going to depend on the weapons around him, and fortunately for him, it looks like there's quite a few.
He's got some good ones. Yeah, the big 6'6" junior's got some guys to sling it to, and he's got a couple of new kids this year that they're excited about, certainly on the offense. But talk about that receiving core, Jay.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, and you know, Terrence Terry is gone. Obviously, that's a guy that's contributed a lot of catches the last couple of years, so he's not around anymore. But there's some other guys. Riley Donovan stepped up. Remember, this is a kid who came in, and they had every intention of redshirting him last year. They pulled it off, and he turns out to be one of the best receivers in the Missouri Valley Football Conference the rest of the way. So he had a couple of huge games for them. And then Josh Vandermotten moves over, and just like Kevin Earl got an entire offseason to prepare as a quarterback, Josh gets the chance to prepare as a wide receiver. And so he spent a lot of time just learning the offense from a different perspective. And one thing that he says has helped tremendously is the fact that he has a quarterback background, because he knew the routes coming in, he understood them, he knew where guys needed to be, and so he understands from his position on the field now where Kevin needs him to be. And the chemistry between the two of them is pretty solid. I think they get along well, and that's going to certainly serve them well. It creates obviously some harmony, if you will, but they play well together and they read well together. And so one guy knows what the other is thinking. That's never a bad thing. But also at the receiver spot, you've got a couple of new guys that are gonna find their way into the mix. Eric Shuford is a JUCO transfer that's coming in, a slot possession type receiver. Very, very quick. He's also going to help this team in the return game as well. Ben Kramer is a guy that's been in the program. He's going to contribute this year as well, as Brant Van Roekel, another guy that's been making some plays. And then they got a true freshman, Takari Carpenter. I think that we're going to see quite a bit of him too at different points. He's a freshman out of Illinois. Very, very soft hands. Impressive, to say the least. So certainly some weapons for 14 to sling the ball to. But of course, life gets easier if there's a running game to back that up. We're going to talk about that now.
Yes, we are. Yes, you mentioned the receiver depth, and they've got a lot of it. But really, the most depth really on the team, offense or defense, probably is that running back. A lot of guys coming back.
There's absolutely no question about that. And last year that was not the case. This was I don't want to call it a weakness, because the guys they did have, Trevor Bama and Jordan Roberts, are very quality running backs. There just weren't enough of them. Right. You know, Jasper Sanders got hurt in the preseason last year. Corey Kilgore was a freshman that they came in, they were impressed with in camp, thought he might be able to contribute. But he ended up getting hurt and missing a significant amount of time. And so by the time he came back, they didn't think it was worth pulling his red shirt. So that left Jordan Roberts and Trevor Bama out there kind of on an island all by themselves to carry that workload. And the guys got dinged up toward the end of the year. And so the running game, which had been very effective early in the season, not so much down the stretch. So to have 4 guys coming in right now, and it might even go deeper than that, but there's 4 that we're talking about right now, to have that many guys that you can go to that are all quality guys that offer a little something different. Bama and Roberts kind of more of the powerful, straight-ahead guys. Jordan Roberts does have a little bit more dance to him than Trevor Bama. But Jasper Sanders, huge addition, not only in the backfield, but he's going to help in the pass game as well. They're going to split him out, I think, put him in the slot a little bit, let him do some things, get the football in his hands and see what happens, because that guy can make some plays. So huge advantage, huge luxury for this football team to have that kind of stable of running backs.
Yeah, the backfield will provide a lot of balance for Earl, certainly. One of the big things about that running back core, they've got a pretty good group of guys up front, some new faces on that offensive line, but 3 returning starters up front.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when Joe Glenn took this job, virtually no one on the offensive line had started a football game. And now you've got 3 guys that have started a ton. Matthew Huffer, your left tackle, Andrew Schofield, the right guard, have started virtually every game over the last 3 years. In fact, I think Huffer has started every single game. I think Schofield might have missed 1 in that time. Derek Chancellor is the other guy that's got a lot of experience. He got thrown in there as a redshirt freshman, it wasn't necessarily the plan all along, but he kind of got forced into action due to injury. But he's since really come along, and I think he performed better earlier than people expected. And so he's a solid right tackle. So your bookends, Huffer and Chancellor, that's not a bad start for your offensive line. Now the question marks are going to be Niall Banks at left guard and Sam McLaren at center, because those are the 2 new guys. Banks got a little time last year and showed some signs that he was the next guy up, if you will, off of the bench in case of injury or whatever. And so he did get a little time last year. Sam McLaren, a very talented guy out of Iowa City, and a redshirt freshman. Now he's handling the center spot, and you and I both know how important that can be for an offense. These guys have to recognize the defense. They have to make audible calls on the line. And everybody that I talk to says Sam McLaren is handling that responsibility like someone much older than a redshirt freshman. So that's a very, very large compliment to that young man. But he has the potential to be a 4-year starter for this team, certainly.
Yeah. Andrew Schofield said McLaren, a very intelligent guy, was getting all the calls down with relative ease, really, this fall camp. So that's going to be a huge thing for this Yoda offense. Well, it's a talented group of guys coming back. We'll take a look at the defense in our next edition of The Corner. Jay, it's going to be a fun season, isn't it?
You bet it is.
Thanks for watching. Pure on MidcoSN.